5 ways food impacts your brain. Believe it or not, weight loss is easier than you think. Did you know that your moods and your emotions are directly impacted by the foods that you're eating? Some people would disagree with you, but now there's a whole field of science called nutritional psychology that helps us understand what's going on in your brain, your neurobiology. When you eat foods that are really high in flour and sugar or they're highly processed, it can really make a difference in your mood and your emotions.
When I was 320 pounds, I was really depressed and anxious, and the food really did something to me, Mom. I remember I would eat like a bag of Doritos or I'd eat a bag of Oreos, and then I'd be so angry and upset, and I would be unkind to my mother, which she gave me my life. I mean, that's so weird to be so mean to her when she's the one who literally is giving me food to eat in the first place. And so it just really made me angry and sad a lot. And even when I'd get sad, I would reach for the sugar and processed foods. So something you really have to be careful for, because it has an addictive pattern that we sometimes can't even see because we're like, oh, we have to eat.
Which is exactly the second point, is that it causes addiction and cravings. So when you start eating more of those foods that are highly addictive, the foods that are high in fat, sugar, and carbohydrates, like Fritos or Doritos, or those little drops, what are they? The ice cream, little droplets, what are they called?
Oh, Dippin' Dots!
Yes, you loved those.
Yes, I did.
The problem is that they keep you looped in to wanting more of it. And that's a real problem because it literally shifts your brain into the addiction mode. And when your brain is in addiction mode, you are driven by your cravings and you are a slave to your cravings.
Speaking of slave, I used to leave the house, walk down our ginormous hill, it was like about a 1 mile walk, to 7-Eleven to buy a large Costco-sized bag of Sour Patch Kids, eat them all, throw them away, hide the trash, steal her money so I could get the Sour Patch Kids, then proceed to walk back home, throw up the Sour Patch Kids just so I could get my sugar fixing, and I would feel terrible after. And not only was I sleepy, groggy, felt like a hungover the next day, I was mean to everybody because I was on sugar.
I think you actually made me pick you up at the bottom of the hill because walking up the hill was completely inconceivable for you.
That's true. I did make you do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm not doing that to rub it in. I'm just illustrating. I think this story really illustrates the addictive behavior. And it's like an addict. For example, stealing, hiding.
It makes you a slave, like you said.
Purging. It's a really, really appropriate story. The third way food impacts your brain is that it affects the way your brain is working. And I mean overall, like let's say you're having a hard time remembering things or you're feeling low on energy, the way your brain is functioning, which can affect your ability to move forward and advance in your career. It can affect the way you're solving problems in your life. It can affect your parenting decisions. It can affect your financial decisions. So it's responsible for how your brain is wiring and firing. So overall, how you are being and what you are thinking and the actions that you're taking in life are completely controlled by your brain. And when you're eating a lot of chemicals in highly processed foods or food that you're ordering out at restaurants, your brain function may be impaired, which means premature aging. That means you might have the brain of a 60-year-old when you're only 40, for example. Penelope, did you remember a time where your brain just wasn't functioning very well?
Yeah, like when I decided to skip 109 days of school because I was so anxious and depressed I couldn't go to school or even do schoolwork or feel like I could even function in the school classroom anymore because I was so overweight, so addicted to sugar and food that that's all I could think about.
And there's no doubt that our fourth topic here is about stress and anxiety, which is a lot of people that we speak to who are stuck in their addiction, their food addiction, are really overwhelmed by stress, anxiety, depression, and hopelessness. And what's tricky about weight loss is that on the one side, you're feeling all these emotions. On the other side, you're not able to choose a lifestyle that you love and that you can stick to in order to reverse the anxiety, depression, and hopelessness. So it's almost like a double-edged sword, or what we call a catch-22, because the things you're doing that are causing the obesity are also causing the stress, anxiety, hopelessness, and depression. And then you don't feel like going out, then you don't feel like exercising, and then you just keep reaching because you're in the addictive mindset, in the addictive brain. You keep reaching for more sugar, more chemicals, more highly palatable foods that are high in fat, sugar, and carbohydrates, like ice cream and french fries and hamburgers and white flour and white sugar and all the things that are cheap and easy to get that most people who are obese are eating. You go through binging and purging, and the stress, anxiety, depression, and hopelessness are quite real.
I remember when I was so anxious and stressed I wouldn't even leave the house anymore. And I was too scared to go out because, one, I was too obese to want to go out anywhere without being afraid of what people would think of me. And I was so like addicted to sugar that I would like have my fixing every day. I'd have to have it. I'd be like, Mom, I need to go to the store. Mom, I need to order food. I needed to do something to get my fixing, however it was. Maybe it was baking my own cake at home, which freaked you out so bad. I remember I bought a bag of cane sugar and you were like, I remember like bringing a box of Betty Crocker's cake home and you were like, oh no. And now I know why. Now I know why you did that. Now I truly understand it, but it did give me a lot more stress and anxiety. And when I got off sugar, I was fine. All of a sudden, magic wand came over me. I was no longer stressed or anxious just from getting rid of sugar. It was that simple.
If there's one takeaway from this video today, you could just lay down the sugar. It's not about restrictive eating. It's not about diet culture. It's about freedom from stress, anxiety, and depression. Sugar is not good for you. It causes immune disparity. It causes problems with your brain. It causes problems with your neurobiology.
It's more addictive than cocaine. So just pretend we're telling you to stop doing cocaine and stop eating sugar. And if you need support, just go look at our program.
And our last and final point that really encompasses everything that we've said in this video is the gut-brain axis. So we have a gut, it's in our bellies, and it's directly connected to our brain. They've proven that with science now. So when you're eating food out and about, chances are it's got a lot of junk in it. So we want to try to clean it up, renew that pathway so you can think straight, so you can feel great. And if you're not sure how to do that because there's a lot of conflicting evidence and thoughts out there, please do contact us. We've helped thousands of people regain their health and lose the weight without dieting. We are looking for 12 women who are ready to lose the weight once and for all. So click the link below and see if you're eligible. I would love to know what food affects your mood. I seem to think that good food equals a good mood, but I'd love to hear what you think. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.